Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hotspot. My name is Webb, yet again here to talk Manchester United. Well, it is a day we've been excited about for the longest time, since way back when we've got it from Fabrizio Romano that Andre Onana would be becoming a Manchester United player today. Well, I must admit, it has been disappointing, frustrating how it has gone. But I've got good news for you because an agreement seems to have been reached between the two parties. Well, I'll talk about that, but we've got to talk about as well a couple of things, including the fact that United are advanced in their pursuit of Rasmus Højlund, and we get to know what bid United has tabled or what bid is about to be accepted by Atalanta. Subscribe to the Hotspot, smash that like button, go ahead and turn on your notification because it is exactly the time you get proper into Manchester United talk. Now guys, I must say, and I won't lie guys, I think it's been I think a long day today for me. I don't know about you. I honestly think it's been a Thursday like no other. I think it's been one full of expectation, one full of anticipation. Some, I think at some point it became anxiety. I think my mental health has been disturbed. It's been a lot of things, and I think it's all for the right reasons, because I mean the love of this badge can get us doing things we never thought we would do. But here we are, that man Andre Onana again continuing to top the headlines, because the latest headlines again coming through concerning Andre Onana and Manchester United are that is the recent one that has just come through. It's a story that has been broken by a one Gianluca Di Marzio. He's a journalist from Italy, and he has said that Andre Onana and Inter Milan and Manchester United are progressing with positive contacts and are close to reaching an agreement of 50 million euros upfront fee plus add-ons. The previous Man United bid was around 45 million with no add-ons. So that's of course that's a credible journalist. He has got 1.8 million followers on Twitter. That is to show you that is no joke. So that's the latest one. But also the kingpin Fabrizio Romano, who put us here, who got us into this place, also will going continuously to tell us they are advanced and they are almost reaching an agreement. So trust you me, we could be getting that here we go before we get to retire tonight. But whichever time it comes, I will be here to give it to you. But anyway, look at me guys. I even had a haircut preparing for the Onana day, ready to sing. I mean, this is a historic day in Man United. I thought I needed really to look good for it. I had my haircut. I hope I look good. I don't know what you think. I don't know. Should I fire my barber? Anyhow, so yeah, it's been a day of expectation, because like we named this day, it's been Onana Day. It's been known since about 3 days ago that this was supposed to be Onana Day. However, it has been moving slow. I must say I've been a bit disappointed by how things unfolded, but I get to understand, knowing from deep sources, how things happen when it comes to buying these players. I get to understand, but of course as a fan I will obviously feel the pain of not yet being able to find the preferred goalkeeper for United. But it seems highly likely that we are going to be selling Andre Onana. An agreement seems to be, being reached, because as we speak right now, the two parties, Manchester United and Inter Milan, are in talks, advanced talks, to try and reach an agreement for Andre Onana. Now, remember, United at first were not willing to go higher than the 45 million euros they did. Initially bid for. Of course, Anolin Aliguma, I see you. Good evening, Web. Thanks for the show. Thank you, Anolin, for coming right on time. Well, this time you're right on time. You're a legend, Anolin. Well done. Thank you. But yeah, so here we are. We are waiting for that. Here we go. I do think it's going to come. It could actually come as I speak. I think the deal is too advanced as it is now, and it's a matter of time. And if the latest, I think it will go, will be tomorrow, but I don't. It could enter tomorrow, but it will be early in the morning if it is tomorrow, or later on tonight as we are on. I do think Andre Onana will be confirmed, because the talks are advanced. The sporting director of Inter Milan is actually believed to be in the UK right now to try and finalize two things. That that is the sale of Andre Onana to Manchester United, but also Inter Milan's bid or pursuit of Romelu Lukaku from Chelsea. So we are hoping this development is going to come through. So it's really imminent, and I think, and I know, guys, you might be tired of hearing the word imminent, more so because of how much it's been, thrown around left, right, and center, especially concerning the purchase of Manchester United. But I think you've got every reason to believe that this is going to happen, and it's going to be happening soon. So Onana will be joining Manchester United. Eric Ten Hag made it clear after that pre-season game against Leeds United how important the goalkeeper is, and we know. And of course, he seemed to say he's happy with the goalkeepers we have and all, but of course that was him managing the press. He can never be happy with Tom Heaton being the first choice goalkeeper or whoever. So yeah, I think it's going to happen, and yeah, we do expect that Manchester United will proceed and I think move on to Rasmus Højlund, because there is some update as well concerning Højlund. I'll be telling you that in a bit. But sticking to Onana and how the whole process is going. So the issue has been, and this is what we get, and I think I've got no reason to doubt it, is that the valuation of the player is what is causing trouble. And clearly for me, this is giving a proper expose of how struggling United are financially, because the difference in valuation of Onana between Inter Milan and Man United has been £6 million. Now, that should be pocket change to Man United, I think, whichever way you look at it. But if it is the reason United are getting themselves in a position where they are likely to play a couple of their next pre-season games without a goalkeeper, or without a preferred first-choice goalkeeper, or to be precise, without Andre Onana, it shows you that perhaps this money situation is more serious than we would expect. So it can become worrying, I think, to some extent. But you feel perhaps solutions will be got, because at least now we are serious about trying to sell players. We are quite trying to do something to push for sales. We know that Anthony Elanga, for example, is being pushed out to Everton. Everton, I think, are preparing an official bid. I think they have made their verbal bid so far of about 15 million. So you think probably that a solution will be found, but that doesn't take away the fact that the situation is a bit tight for United in terms of cash. Because if the money was there is no way you would spend 55 million on Mason Mount, and you're dragging for weeks and weeks to sign Andre Onana for just because of £6 million. So that's the reality, and that's why the talks are going back and forth. We do know that there was a proper discussion just a few hours ago between the two clubs, and this is where we are. They are advanced, and they could be agreeing a deal of about 50 million plus add-ons for Andre Onana. And if that happened, the player is ready to go and join the team, most probably in time for the preseason tour of the US. So, and that's when we will be playing Arsenal. Like I'm seeing Anolina Liguma asking, when is the Arsenal friendly? I'm going to take you through the whole preseason schedule again. If you in case you missed it, I'm going to be taking you through the whole of it. But yeah, so whereas it's been disappointing, and you've got every right to be disappointed and frustrated with the whole process, and the expectation has been high from we United faithful, many of us, but you also want to understand your club. We need to accept the fact that the situation United is in is not one that warrants us, quickly sealing deals for players, because the money is not there, and that's the most important bit now in this window. You can't bid if you don't have money. So it sort of perhaps gives you an idea of what's happening. But I think what's noted, what can't be doubted, is the fact that Andre Onana is going to be confirmed. Now, Anolina Liguma is still venting about the Glazers. The Glazers are so broke that they can't find transfers. This is serious. Oh my God. Yes, it is serious. And you want to give credit to the guys, and I know many of you will be going, John Mata and his team deserve no little ounce of credit. But seeing that they are trying even to push move through the situation that we are in, you want to give them a decent bit of credit, because I mean, you want to give credit where it's due. So that's where we are with Onana. I think we are getting the here we go soon. I think it's going to come, and the moment it does, I'll be coming live, even if it's 3 a.m. Trust me, I'll wake up and come to you live. For those of you who would have turned on your notifications, you will be the lucky ones to get this first. So just take note of that. But yeah, so that's a bit of the situation with Onana. I think the talks are advanced, the two parties are willing to agree to reach an agreement, I actually think that they will meet somewhere. I think actually Inter Milan will go down on their valuation of 51 million pounds or 60 million euros, and I believe the reports that 50 million plus add-ons is what United are holding out for. They have tried to bargain to reach to that extent. To be honest, I think that would be a decent bargain. If Inter Milan accepted to surrender Andre Onana for 50 million euros, including for add-ons, that would be at up to 5 or 10 million euros. I feel like that would be a good deal. It would be good business for Manchester United, and I think it's going to happen. Hello Web, how are you feeling today? As Højlund bid has been rejected, do you think Man United should go for Taremi, as Mwani and Ramos both will be very expensive? Well, the Højlund bid, and you spoke about it, and of course there was a story earlier today that Manchester United's bid for Højlund of players plus cash was rejected upon arrival by Atalanta. I don't think that was a surprising report, quite frankly. It turned out later that the players were Fred and Donny van der Beek. And if you're Atalanta, I don't think that's the kind of business you want to do, to be honest. I think that whoever even thought of that kind of bid for Rasmus Højlund in this period, I think must have undermined the importance of cash. But I think cash rules the world, and cash rules transfers, not flops. You don't think you're going to get a player you're craving by giving away your flops, players you rejects, if you would call them. So Fred and Donny van der Beek are obviously surplus to requirements at Man United. There is no way if we felt we would get a striker we want so bad by including those in our offer. It would make sense if the earlier reports of Mason Greenwood and Amad Diallo, because they are players who have a lot to offer going forward. But what more value can Fred and Donny van der Beek offer Atalanta? You think about it and you're thinking that was a disrespectful bid. So for me, that's not a bad. But however, whereas you're asking about us going for Taremi and Mwani, first of all, is so expensive. Ramos, we had a bid rejected that we had, but I'm sure if we do want Ramos, we can get him if we sell players. For Mwani, I think he's overpriced, just like Diaby, Musa Diaby, who was he's a player we're linked with, but Aston Villa advanced in trying to sign him. They had a bid rejected of 35 million euros plus add-ons. So, but I think for Mwani, I think he's a bit overpriced because Frankfurt do want over 60 million pounds for him. I mean, if the issues we have are cash, there is no way. If we are begging Inter Milan to go down from a valuation that's 6 million pounds higher than what we do have, it shows you we don't have the money. And I also wouldn't even agree that United should go for one who is overpriced. So I don't think, for me, you can fail to bid for Rasmus Højlund and you think you can get a column one. I think it doesn't make sense. Guy Wito, I see you. Taremi was amazing last season in both League and UEFA Champions League. Yes, he was. But I think we are still focused on Rasmus Højlund because for some reason he's the player that the gaffer has trusted and wanted for the longest time. And Olina Liguma Web, tell me, I want to understand, where will the Glazers get the money for transfers for the next coming seasons if they don't sell our club? Interesting. That's an interesting question. Let me think of an answer for that. Anolin, where will the Glazers get money if they don't sell the club? Look, I don't think money to sell or to buy players, rather, for transfers for Manchester United should be got from purchase and not purchase of the club. I think we know that Manchester United has been making a lot of money under the Glazers. I mean, the commercial value of the club has increased exponentially. In terms of revenue, I think we have not been struggling to make money. The money has been made. The issue has been reinvesting. So the Glazers have not bought players, have not been buying players, not for the lack of money. It's for them not wanting, the lack of interest, because they don't want to reinvest in the club. That's why they have been milking money from the club and using players as assets. So the issue for them would be And I don't even want to again think a lot about your question, Anoline, to be honest, because I mean somewhere it mentions if they don't sell, and I don't want to hear that. I think I might have the worst night if I retired with that on my mind. I think I might have the worst nightmares. So I would rather not even think about that. I think the Glazers will sell. I think that's the best thing for them to do. But the event that for any whichever reason they didn't, because again they are the Glazers we are dealing with, I don't think United buying players, transfers would depend on them selling, because even now we are buying Mason Greenwood without them selling the club. So I don't really think the buying and selling of players is dependent on them selling or a new owner coming in. I think it's the will for the Glazers. If they had done the right thing years ago, we wouldn't be here probably, because the biggest issue everyone has got with the Glazers is the lack of investment in the club, but rather them using the club for their own greedy benefits. Putting players as assets on loans, taking crazy loans, and keeping the club in debt, not even renovating Old Trafford, stuff like that. Not they have invested decently, by the way, and by the way, to give it to them. And again, to correct you, Anoline, these Glazers, to just to prove to you that the issue is not money. They have bought, I think United has spent over 1.5 billion since Sir Alex Ferguson left, pounds in players, but the wrong players. So it's not that the money has not even been there. They have been probably poorly spending it because there was never a proper plan of continuity post Sir Alex Ferguson. So even if you have so much money to spend, if you don't have a structured way you want to spend it and the direction you want to follow, you're just going to waste the money. And that's what has been happening, because they were not making the right footballing reasons, but because they had the money, they were just putting it in there. And that's why you signed a bunch of flops, from Di Maria to whoever, coaches coming in and spending a few seasons and they are fired, they are compensated. So it's not mostly them not being able to get the money, because it's Man United. I mean, the money will always be there. I think even if it's me running Man United, it will be a profitable organization, so the money will be there. But it's the will. It's the will for them to reinvest in, and also invest it the right way. Guy Wito, I'm already seeing a lot of Man United fans on other channels bashing Højlund after they asked for 80 million price a few days ago. He was their future star. How time flies. Well, here's the thing. Rasmus Højlund, I think, has never been worth, for me, even 40 million pounds would be too much for him, in all honesty. That's realistically. But knowing the market today, the transfer market today, and how it has been inflated, but also knowing the fact that United is desperate for a striker, and they have shown how interested they have been in Rasmus Højlund, then I wouldn't be shocked if Atalanta are overpricing him, are rating him at 60 million euros and 70 million euros. Now, 85 million quid then is insane because, again, there is no explanation for that. 85 million would be insane. But you think about the market lately, but also the team we're dealing with in Atalanta and how they have been dealing with their players. The fact that they have sold a 19-year-old prospect before to United for 30 million pounds, that's 3 years ago. That's in it's not even 3 years ago, it's 4 years ago. That's Amad Diallo. Certainly for them to come out and try to overprice a player that United is desperate for wouldn't be a surprise. They will obviously go down on their 85 million pounds valuation of the player. But speaking of Højlund, so it emerged that United had a bid of 2 players that was rejected, and I spoke about this earlier. But I feel like if the reports we are getting are right, I feel like we might be in a worse situation than we know, because I mean, if our biggest department that we need to solve is the striking department, you feel like that's where our biggest pounds should be spent. I think you put your best resources where your best opportunity is. And I think if you think about Manchester United, our best opportunity in this summer is in the striking position. Is our elephant in this is in the striking position and the goalkeeping department. Of course, after David De Gea left, before it wasn't exactly, because De Gea could have stayed and United would still be competitive. But the fact that we are now going into all forms of funny and senseless bids for a striker, after spending unnecessarily on Mason Mount, after us now going back and forth on a goalkeeper Onana, it's a bit worrying because and now it's emerging that we don't really have the money, and it seems some of the players we wanted to sell are not attractive to anyone. You get the sense that it's beginning to look worrying. It's beginning to look difficult. I do believe and I hope and I know that United will find a way of signing Rasmus Højlund, but it's it looks like we seem to be pushed to the limit in terms of how we are going to go and convince Atalanta to give us the player. It seems we are going for desperate means right now. And for me, that's evidence that perhaps the money is not exactly there. Yet the club has overpriced the player. We probably undermined how much Atalanta would want for Rasmus Højlund. We probably did not exactly think that Atalanta would come out and want more than 50 million pounds. And yet now we don't have the money, and we know we must sign the player, so we are confused. So I feel like it's a tighter situation than we might know, but not one that cannot be sorted. So that's what I can pretty much say. Anolin, I'd rather go for Ramos or Colomwani, but not buy Højlund for 85 million. No one. I don't think anyone in the world would buy Højlund. Not even Atalanta themselves, if they had Arab money in their bank. I don't think they would buy him for that. So no one would buy him at 85 million. I think that's not an option. I think that's just Atalanta being stubborn. They're being Atalanta. Again, I keep talking about the partner. It's a game. It's a tactic of negotiation where you first raise your stakes so high, but you know where you want to land. You raise the bar so they say you raise your bar so high, and leave a bigger room for negotiation. So that when you settle at your partner, your best alternative to a negotiable agreement. So it's a negotiation tactic, and though I feel like they have then, I think, over exaggerated. If 85 million and as reports we are gathering are true, I feel then that's an over exaggeration. But yeah, so that's where we are. I don't want to miss on the here we go when it comes, because I'm so positive that it will come for Andre Onana. I'm extremely positive that it's going to come very soon. I don't want to miss it as we continue to talk here. But yeah, so that's where we are. We've been linked to so many players. Some of them are beginning to drop off one after the other. But we are hoping that we will at least sign the right players and for the right fee. For me, that's the most important thing. We've got to sign the right players for the right fee. Anything over 50 million pounds, just walk away from the deal. Well, I quite don't think so, to be honest. When it comes to the Andre Onana situation, I think Andre Onana is actually a goalkeeper who can easily go for even 60 million pounds, to be honest, because that's how good he is. I think 51 million pounds is a proper deal. There is no way I think Mason Mount is more expensive than Andre Onana. There is no way. I don't think so. So, however, being a United guy, I want to support my club in terms of how much back the club with whatever approach they are taking. But if it's taking long and it's beginning to affect me, I think I've got every right then to I think shift goalposts and be thinking why on earth, and then finalizing the deal. Now for Rasmus Højlund, I think anything beyond 50 million pounds for Højlund, I think would be insane. I think we'll just walk away from that deal. I would rather gamble with Mason Mount, no matter what happens to him when he returns. Rather Mason Greenwood, we call him and use him as a false nine, and add on all the other nobodies, young players we have. But anything above 50 million pounds is for me a no deal, and 50 million should be the highest, including add-ons, by the way, for Rasmus Højlund. I don't think United should even think of going any further than that. I also don't think really they would do that. I think they see what we see. Guy Whittle, if Man United didn't use their money on Mount, they could have bought a good striker and maybe back up for Casemiro. Atalanta is intentionally overpricing Højlund as Man United are desperate for a striker. But also Atalanta are watching. Guys, Atalanta also are in this industry, and they know what's going on with other clubs. They are monitoring what's happening with other clubs. They know that PSG, for example, will soon need a striker because they are in a rebuilding process. And PSG have actually hinted about Rasmus Højlund. They have inquired about him. This was confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, in case you didn't know. So they have inquired about Rasmus Højlund. So if you're Atalanta, obviously you know now your player, the demand is becoming higher. And as they say, I mean, if something is on demand, then it's obviously the price is always going to go higher. So I think really that United has got, again, we failed badly with our priorities, quite frankly. I think the Mason Mount, all issues we are facing now, I think should be blamed on Eric Ten Hag's fascination with Mason Mount. I think Mount is a player that could have come as an extra, as an extra. I saw that friendly, and of course not to judge him and what he will add to United because of the friendly against Leeds. But I was watching that friendly where he played probably only 20 minutes and the rest was just running around until he was substituted in the first half. But I I looked at him and I'm thinking, I mean, if you're a big player and you come into a club and you're that important, the way Eric Ten Hag made us believe Mount is, you should be impacting games instantly. Like, it should be clear like day and night that your impact on the game is way up there. The way Casemiro joined United, and I think many will agree that Casemiro might be the best signing for Man United post Sir Alex Ferguson because of how huge and significant his impact was with the club. I think without a doubt right now, Casemiro is the most important player at Man United. I think if you've forgotten, go back to when he missed, those games he missed, and you check how he performed. So I think we got it wrong with our priorities when we accepted to spend 55 million on Mason Mount. But again, we are the same people who say we are backing this manager fully. And if the manager is the one who was fascinated with the player, then all we've got to do is accept and say, you know what, perhaps this is what needed to be done. Perhaps it's the right thing, and we just need to give it time and see. But as they say, the end always justifies the means, but also time always vindicates people. I think Eric Ten Hag should better pray that time vindicates him, and Mason Mount actually shows us why exactly he was worth 55 million before us signing a striker and a goalkeeper. I think he better pray that happens, because these same fans, us who are backing him, will be among the first to just go and say, you know, guy, you've wasted a lot of our money because Anthony Dos Santos is not exactly working. We are being patient, giving him time, but we are watching and we know that this is your signing and he's not working. We know that he's the same gaffer who was so fascinated to bring in Adrien Rabiot. Rabiot is not your most exciting midfielder, and in fact, to be honest, low-key, personally, where I am, I'm saying, well, it's probably good riddance that he didn't join. I think he's not really that good, to be honest. He's not. Whereas we are desperate for a central midfielders, I don't exactly think he was that world-class, big-name, player who would be giving us a lot of value if he came in. But yeah, so Eric Ten Hag is still enjoying his honeymoon, but some of the decisions he has made are being noted. We are seeing them, we are noting them, and we hope they make sense. That's of course what we would all want. But if they don't, we will obviously come for him. And Olina Liguma, with the incompetence of John Mata and Richard Arnold, United could be ransomed again. Well, they're trying to be careful. I think they learned the hard way. They are trying, but perhaps they are now over being careful. I think they are overdoing it, because why on earth haven't we sealed Andre Onana? Why on earth isn't he done? I think they're just being over careful now. Of course, that's what we want, but I think when it comes to Onana, it's a no-brainer. We need the player. He's the best goalkeeper probably now in Europe. He's the perfect goalkeeper for Eric Ten Hag. Go sign the player. Don't go back and forth and wasting time, because eventually they know they have got to sign him. But the talks are advanced and they look positive. So, guys, I do hope it goes on to happen. But yeah, so that's where we are. I think I wanted to be here for just 30 minutes as we wait for the Here We Go. That's the quick update I wanted to give you, that United and Inter Milan are advanced. They seem to have reached an agreement for Andre Onana. It should be 50 million, including add-ons, 50 million plus add-ons, so which looks, I think, something that Inter Milan could go with. So that's where we are. we are hoping the deal goes through, and when it does, I will obviously be back here to give it to you. For now, that's pretty much it. I'm going to just let you take a breather for a bit as we do wait for whichever update that will come through. But it's uh, it's imminent. It's imminent. Onana will come. The deal is so close, and we will get the here we go anytime soon. My name is Web, guys. Subscribe to the hotspot. I will be seeing you later. Still talking Onana, but yeah, it's Onana day. My haircut, disappointed because it's not yet done. It's been slow, but I don't think my haircut will go for nothing. I do still believe Andrew Onana will be done soon, very soon. I told you latest would be tomorrow. That's Friday, but I still actually think he will be done either today or early morning tomorrow. We will be getting the confirmation, because now we are getting the close reports. It's close. It's close. It's almost done. I think it's just became tighter. It became more intense, like I did tell you in the previous video. It became more intense as it comes to the end, but it's okay. That is expected. Guys, thank you so much. Subscribe to the hotspot. I will be catching you later. Enjoy the rest of the videos.